We'll be arriving shortly, Mr. President.
What in the world?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we are looking at those games that require the most investment in constant and repeating grinding. God! These are 10 single-player games with the worst grind. Let's do it. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
We really do need to buy ourselves a new depth probe. The ping was off by 150 peds to the east. That's not gonna fly.
No discussion on video game grinding is complete without a look at the Xenoblade series. The grind in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is notoriously tough due to its often convoluted progression systems. Unlocking blade abilities requires completing specific, often obscure field skills or trust levels, which demand repetitive side quests, pouch item farming, and affinity chart grinding. Randomized blade summoning via core crystals means players may never get the blade they want without hours of grinding. Add in rare item farming and high-level enemy gating and the grind can feel endless. And it is.
Yeah! Anchor shot! Ha!
Dark Souls 2. Punishing enemy respawns, slower combat, and uneven soul farming are all reasons people point to DS2 as the worst Souls game when it comes to relentless grinding. Unlike other entries, enemies despawn after a set number of kills, limiting farming opportunities. Leveling up requires a steep soul investment, and dying repeatedly drains your max health unless you use limited human effigies. Item drop rates for rare weapons or upgrade materials are abysmally low, requiring constant grinding with barely any reward. Combined with slower movement and stamina recovery, the overall pace of this game feels more draining than any other entry in the series. Final Fantasy 13.
It's an out-and-out massacre. Those people won't even live long enough to die on pulse.
That was the idea.
Final Fantasy 13 is often and fairly criticized among fans of the series. It is filled with a lot of qualities that make it weaker than most other entries. But it doesn't get the criticism it deserves from the terrible grinding. I guess because there are far more important things to complain about. A rigid structure and delayed access to key progression systems makes the grind in Final Fantasy 13 feel especially punishing. For much of the game, character growth is limited by the level caps, which only expand after specific story events. Battles are frequent but yield minimal experience, and grinding for upgrades demands farming rare components with painfully low drop rates. A largely linear world that limits exploration and farming options has the grind feel more tedious than rewarding until very late in the game. Pokemon Gold and Silver. The grind in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and also Crystal is weird. Unbalanced level scaling and limited high-level training areas means that you can get locked pretty easily. The Johto region's wild Pokemon and trainers are often underleveled, leading to sluggish experience gain. By the time you reach the Elite Four, your team may be drastically underleveled unless you've done excessive grinding. Most post-game enemies are level 30, so getting to level 80 to fight Red, it's going to require a lot of time bending your neck down at your Game Boy. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is easily one of the most grind-heavy entries in the series. Many players have voiced their frustration, especially those who focus only on the main storyline. Doing so often leaves you underleveled and forced to grind just to progress. This is a key reason Odyssey earns its reputation for being especially grindy. On top of this, Odyssey's gameplay loop can start to feel repetitive, but the payoff comes from gradually building your ideal character and seeing the rich story unfold. This does make the grind feel more bearable, but it's still a hell of a grind.
Here they are, all accounted for.
In record time, too. Take your pay, it's well earned.
Gran Turismo 7. grind in Gran Turismo 7 becomes a true JRPG level grind when you start trying to get your hands on expensive cars. Earning enough credits to buy high-end cars requires running the same races repeatedly, with payouts that feel disproportionately low compared to vehicle costs, some topping 20 million credits. This imbalance forces players into tedious loops or pushes them towards microtransactions, which sparked huge backlash. Backlash that should have been predicted considering the grind of Gran Turismo Sport. Revelations Persona. The original Persona, especially the Japanese version, is notoriously grind heavy. Random encounters occur every few steps, making even basic exploration exhausting. Early on, you're under-equipped with limited supplies, weak personas, and few healing or offensive items. Progress feels painfully slow, forcing players to choose between grinding battles for experience or negotiating with demons to unlock stronger personas, essential for advancing the story. Frequent backtracking only adds to the tedium, making first playthroughs especially grueling. But the worst detail of all is that a late game decision can completely invalidate your progress if you're unaware of its consequences. Disgaea 5 Alliance of Vengeance.
It's reckless of you to invade the territory of the Lost.
The Disgaea series is infamous for its intense grind, and Disgaea 5 is a perfect place to jump in. This tactical RPG centers on Kilia, a young demon assembling an army to topple the Netherworld's ruler. With its strategic turn-based combat and signature quirky humor, Disgaea 5 delivers a fun and thrilling experience from beginning to end. With a whopping 200 hours of campaign and a wealth of post-game grinding, completionists will find a wealth of content to explore, as well as the regular experience farming, which is essential.
My, who might you guys be?
What's wrong with you?
Parasite Eve. The cult classic action RPG Parasite Eve offers a prime example of how a game's grind can break the game's flow. At around level 25, the experience needed to level up skyrockets drastically, forcing players into tedious grinding for upcoming battles. This stretch is dull and discouraging, but those who persevere face a bizarre twist at level 38. Every level from level 38 to level 99 requires the exact same 4,500 XP. Considering that reaching level 38 required 185,000 XP, the grind from 24 to 38 feels brutal, with the grind from 38 to 99 feeling a breeze. A smoother XP curve would have been much clearer and much less frustrating. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom.
We'll be arriving shortly, Mr. President.
What in the world?
Ni no Kuni 2 stands out as the most disappointing sequel in recent years. With fewer cutscenes and much less voice acting, it's clear the game cut major corners. The main story mostly feels like an easy sprint until it abruptly slams into artificial roadblocks meant to extend playtime. At several points, you're forced to complete a string of side quests to recruit villagers before progressing. These missions are tedious, repetitive fetch quests that drag the game to a halt. This grind, more than any other on our list, feels like a frustrating waste of time that shows very little respect for players' time. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.